Hey, folks, welcome to InTheMoneyStocks.com's intraday analysis video brought to you by the creators of proprietary price, pattern, and time methodology. Learn the PPT strategies and profit for life. My name is Gareth Soloway, Chief Market Strategist here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. All right, guys, into the charts we go. Markets are trading slightly higher on the day. SPY is up 27 cents on this Monday, which again has very, very light volume. Today, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is negative, down 3 points, while the S&P is up about 3, and the Nasdaq is up about 10. You're getting a good snapback in the Nasdaq after a very ugly late portion of the week last week after some earnings were not very good. Today, we're having Google snapping back $15, Apple's up 2, Amazon's still down a little bit, but again, a lot of the tech plays are rebounding after getting crushed last week off of earnings. Microsoft, Intel, you can name it. There were a lot of plays that just got decimated, including Google early in the day on Friday before it rebounded back to just close down slightly to the negative side. Today, it's gaining back a good chunk of what it was down as well. Now, the markets again made an early high in the late morning session here, and you can see it right here on the charts. We went up on the SPY to the 169.74 level, at which point you came in and you created a nice bearish flag pattern. Now, usually during lunchtime, these won't play out. There's just a lot of light volume issues with the market in terms of playing bearish patterns out. Bull patterns usually play out much better in light volume market. But however, we did see this happen and did play out today beautifully to the downside. It did come all the way back in, and then we bounced back, and we're now hovering underneath this level. Now, we could get a small doji today. I think there's a couple key things that are happening today into tonight that we should be aware of. Some of them I can discuss, some of them I can't. First of all, Netflix earnings, and then Apple after the bell tomorrow will be released. Those will be two key earnings for the markets. Although Netflix won't infect the market too much, I do think Apple tomorrow after the close will be very, very significant. In addition, we are looking at some cycle stuff going on over the next 24 hours in terms of astronomy type stuff that should be monitored as well. Oftentimes, it can have a small impact on the markets. All right, a couple other things to go over here. If we go to the daily chart, you can see we have inched above the previous high from May. This is the May 22nd high, and we are currently just a shade above it on the charts. So we continue to kind of just hover up in that range just above that level. This is a little bit of a pierce right now. Question is, do we hold above it into the close, and do we add on those gains in the coming days in light volume? Couple other stocks to keep an eye on. First of all, let's take a look at gold. Gold definitely deserves a mention today. A huge move up on gold, up $3.88 on the GLD. That is a huge move. Your key resistance area that you are looking for is going to be this gap fill here. So I think over the next day or so, you might get a little bit more upside into this key level, which is 130.80. All right, we're about $1.50 to $1.80 away from that point as of now, and I do believe that will be a very significant level on the GLD in terms of resistance. Obviously, possibly even worth a shorting opportunity. If I decide to take it, I will release it to our members in the Research Center. And again, you can join the Research Center and take the 7-day free trial at any point there and try it out once for free. Couple other things to note here. SLV, silver is trading up. Very big move on silver as well. Silver's not as extended as gold. However, it continues to see a good target range right here. So this level right here at $20.65 is a gap fill pierce of the 50. That would be the master level on the SLV chart. Very, very big level right there. Okay, couple stocks to watch here. Goldman Sachs and JPM both trading up today. Goldman is up pretty significantly, as is JPM. JPM's up about 33 cents. Interesting that JPM has just slowly floated down while the markets have come in a little bit more. JPM, in other words, is holding up relatively well in this market environment. If we look at the GS, Goldman Sachs chart, same thing. It's holding up even better than Goldman, floating here to the upside. You have a little bit of resistance on an intraday basis right here, but really what you're looking at now on Goldman Sachs, you have to think that there's a good chance you're going to come up to this pivot top. All right, so you have to think that you're probably headed towards that level. That's at least what we're believing in terms of Goldman Sachs right now. Once you get to that double top, then there should be significant resistance. A couple other charts I'm keeping a close eye on. Ford, inside bearish pattern on the symbol Ford F. inside bar here off of this little pivot top. The key is you could go as high as filling the gap right here, but once you get there, you have to think, especially coming into a time count, that this chart could be very lucrative for us in terms of a shorting opportunity. If you look at where Ford has gone just this year alone, it's really been an amazing move, especially going back to last year. I mean, look at this. It was a $9 stock in late 2012, is now a $16, $17 stock. I mean, that's basically almost 100% gain on this company just in less than a year's period, almost a year now, as this was kind of like right around August 1st. So 1 year gain on Ford of almost 100%. Really amazing move there. A couple other stocks we mentioned earlier. Netflix is coming in before earnings. A lot of people thinking that it's run up so much into earnings that it probably will pull back. The more it pulls back into earnings, the more I think it might actually go up on earnings. Remember, whatever the day of earnings a stock does, oftentimes it's factoring in some of that price action. So the fact that it's already pulling back $6, now it's not a big pullback, but it could be already taking some of that lackluster or negative move out of the stock on the earnings release. And maybe you only see Netflix down a couple bucks after earnings, maybe 5-10 bucks, which is nothing after earnings, or it could even be up if it turns out to be a nice move and a good earnings announcement. Okay, so definitely keep an eye on that stuff right now. I'm very curious to see how that plays out. Netflix, again, very interesting action there. Apple, again, reports earnings tomorrow after the close. You have your 420 pivot point right here, which continues to be in play. We're above it, so therefore you have a slight positive bias on Apple. Aside from that, there's not much else here, guys. As long as it stays above, I'm going to have a slight positive bias going into earnings. We'll see if that plays out. If it does get below on earnings, so let's say it moves in gaps below the 420 on earnings, the literally downside would be 390 and then 360. So, I mean, it has, if it does break, anytime it gets below this 420, I don't care if it's after earnings or before earnings, you immediately go negative on the stock. It's just the nature of the beast here, based on how ugly that, or how powerful that level is, and if it's below it, it's very ugly. It's a very ugly scenario. Chevron today up 32 cents, not much doing there. Apple we talked about, Google we talked about, Baidu's down 63 cents, Chevron, Exxon's down 25 cents. So again, there are some key movers out there like Google. Google's having a nice day, and JPM and Goldman are having nice days. But aside from that, everything else is basically on the flat line. Volume again on the SPY. If we flip back to the SPY, we really are seeing a very light day, 54 million, and it's now 2:45 p.m. So 2:45 p.m. Eastern time. So very, very light. Markets are now trying to push back above the 20 MA, and you can see how hard it is for the markets to sell in this volume environment. This is something I've preached for a long time, is that unless you're going to have significant volume, it's almost impossible for the markets to have a sustained sell-off. Yeah, little blips on the screen, fine, but the sustained sell-off with the Fed backing it and so forth, very hard when you have light volume. All right, guys. So again, keep an eye on the market in the next 24 hours. Could be a very interesting period here. We'll update you tomorrow in the free video. But come here to InTheMoneyStocks.com. Get swing trade alert entries and exit points, daily videos, market reports, live broadcasts, you name it. It's all here. Take the 7-day free trial and join the pros. Take care.